All right, everyone, it's the weekend. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, software releases, the websites by plebes. You guys know the drill. Drop us a like and subscribe. All right, we're breaking down the numbers. Here we go.
Clock Booty Dashboard.
All right, we are currently at a block height of 667,380. The current Bitcoin price, 31,995. Chain rewrite days, 582. The total lightning capacity, 1,050.91. And the Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 4.99%.
Steady consolidation. It's good. We're building up momentum. But unfortunately, no Satoshi, the Bitcoin chicken, because the price of Bitcoin did not reach an all-time high. No. Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. On the heels of our previous daily fail report that we had on what's going on with CSW and his desire to enforce this copyright over the Bitcoin white paper, which he has no copyright over. Anyways, so this is a tweet from Arthur Van Pelt, who is at My Legacy Kit, and for the people who want to, follow the CSW drama closely, he is the account to follow. This guy just has been relentless in covering this. Anyways, all right. So it looks like CSW put out some totally garbage tweets, which obviously we're going to post a link to below, but just. Look, I'll burn cryptocurrency to non-existence and have the US government collect the ashes if a single dev exists making BTC with the name Bitcoin. Okay, so there's that tweet. Okay, then you've got this one over here. He thinks that by suing or attempting to sue every single Bitcoin dev who is working on an open source project, and he really has no claim over it. Anyways, most devs will fold, a few will be bankrupted, lose their families, and collapse. Yeah, that's not freaking happening, bud. You're the one that's collapsing. And now apparently we're invoking religious fervor here. Okay, he's the punishment of God in cryptocurrency. That's right. That's right. The all-knowing, all-powerful decided to create this piece of garbage to stop real Bitcoin and replace it with his shit fork of a shit fork that he pretends is Bitcoin. I mean, you realize they spend their entire time pretending to be Bitcoin. This is their use case. They pretend to be Bitcoin, and then they build shitty services that nobody actually uses. I mean, they're so unoriginal. They go and they rip off other people's names and make them worse. Like instead of Twitch, you have Twetch. What kind of garbage is that? That doesn't even sound cool to say. I wouldn't even want to use that. It sounds like some kind of strange disease that just now you've got this thing called Twitch and you're screwed.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
It's man,
it's just total garbage.
Craig Wright is a total chicken, and man, this guy's dangerous. He's dangerous as hell.
Psychotic and dangerous.
I think there'll be a reckoning. I think that this is the end game of Craig Wright. I see him burning up in the atmosphere right now. And he's doing everything humanly possible to keep his cult following, happy while they're seeing all this news about institutions adopting Bitcoin and all this bullish news. And, they're just watching from the sidelines in this crap coin. And the only avenue they have is Craig Wright's war chest to just take advantage of countries with terrible libel laws to go after people, right? And it's unfortunate that these countries, their libel laws are what they are, and but eventually, I think that judges will start to see a pattern, especially if they see text like that. A judge isn't going to react kindly to those words, right? So yeah, man, it's definitely a saga, and we're going to cover it here first on Simply Bitcoin. So Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by @plan_Marcus. Let's check it out. Have fun staying for plebs buying the dip. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's hard to understand. That's my only critique. I'm gonna give that a 7.5. What about you, Phil?
I'm gonna go with a 6.8.
Okay.
You're a lot nicer than me on this one. Not that like it wasn't good or something, but it's a very niche. It's a very niche meme, and it's really only insiders that are going to get it. But it's definitely funny.
It is very niche. It's
So
very
that's why it gets the points it gets. Sorry.
it's very Bitcoin centric. I completely agree. Let's move on to the next meme. It's brought to us by, again, the meme lord Greg. He sent this to us this morning, and I felt like it was perfect for the time because we are covering fake Satoshi so much. Anyways, available now at the BSV merch store, white label being offered by Real. Okay. Dude. Oh my God. Wow. That was good. Man, 9.5 for me. What about you, Phil?
I'm going with an 8.6 on this one.
Okay. Why'd you give it an 8.6?
Okay. So again, this is one of those things that's incredibly niche, but super funny, right? Really nobody outside of like people that follow Bitcoin intensely are gonna get that. What I really liked about it though was the white label comments about Real Vision, because everyone calls BSV a scam, so we know that Raul sees the opportunity. He's such a jerk. Anyways,
it was good. It was definitely very niche, but man, it made me laugh, and yeah. I hate CSW, right? So it was good. It was like a good revenge meme, so I had to give it a pretty high score. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely very niche. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody. Today is a weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin, but surprisingly, there was some pretty good news today. So anyways, the first headline, this is propaganda. We've been covering this, right? It's just so funny. Like in the title, the fundamental flaw in inherent cryptocurrencies is supply can't be reduced when the demand is slumping in most cases. Of course, this is coming from a UBS economist, aka a banker. So this would be the equivalent of like asking the horse and buggy businesses what they thought of cars, right? They would say, So who the hell cares what a UBS economist says? Honey Badger doesn't care, and he's going to have fun staying poor. The second article is Craig Wright dropped lawsuit against Adam Beck. I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I suspect that's because Adam Beck is in the United States, and the United States has freedom of speech as the First Amendment. So, has definitely better libel laws, and Craig Wright has to prove what he's claiming rather than Adam Beck proving what he said in the libel law, or whatever his claim was correct. Phil, this was super interesting, and I want to talk to you about it. Taproot activation meeting. This was super awesome. This has been developing. It's already been merged with Bitcoin Core, and it's just cool that we're seeing it coming to fruition, and they're meeting for the first time about it on Tuesday, February 2nd. So what are your thoughts on that, Phil?
Huge. And I believe it's also faster. A lot of people, I know like 8 months ago, people were sitting there. I was hearing stuff like 3 years out. Looks like consensus is starting to move a whole lot faster.
Absolutely.
This is really good.
What are your thoughts on the propaganda piece by Bloomberg?
Oh, from UBS.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know if so. Do you see what like their idea of monetary policy, and they think that makes sense? Oh, when demand is slumping, we should lower the supply. So when there's a lot of demand, you raise the supply.
Yeah.
Like I don't like.
It's broken.
I don't understand. Like, what are these people like? How do they come up with this crap? And everybody sits there and they circle jerk each other. And oh yeah, that makes sense. Like these guys, man. Like I don't get them. And yeah, Craig Wright. I think so. Okay, yes, Adam Back is in the States, but I also think maybe Craig is kind of losing some steam, man. This goes back to our fail piece. I think these guys, this is like their last gasp. This thing is a zombie coin, which we're going to see in the website later on. And it's running on fumes, and people like him are just pretending that it does something.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Phil. I think that he's definitely, they're definitely in their last death throes. I would agree with that. I just think that, you know, in the United States, it's just so much harder to sue someone for libel because you're protected under the laws. So that might be it. You might be right as well about how, you know, it could be that you know, they're running out of gas. That could be it too. But man, I just hope Craig Wright goes away, but at least there's a small victory for the good guys. And Phil, you were talking about you know, the circle jerk, and I'm gonna kind of pull up a picture. This is the party of Davos, right? This is Klaus, whatever his name is, you know, and this is the fiat bankers. This is the guy behind you will own nothing and be happy in 2030. This is the fool, right? Look at what he's wearing. This guy thinks you know, he's this is the people that are in charge of the money. Look how they dress. You know, I don't judge people on how they dress, but you know,
you can see he's better than us.
Exactly.
It's better, man. It's just better people, man. They're just better.
I couldn't say it better myself. And Phil, the next piece of news, this is also very bullish. It's been a very bullish day for news today. You know, it depends, because if you were in fiat, this is not very bullish. But if you're in Bitcoin, this is absolutely bullish. Zero hedge, it's probably nothing, right? And we've been covering this. Fed balance sheet at percentage of GDP. Check out World War II. World War II, right? Where we had to pay for a war, right? Check this out. 10%. Right now, COVID-19, and dude, we're almost at 40%. That is absolutely wild. What the hell? You know, and it's just no one's acting like, you know, it's not important. And also some bullish news. And guys, I want you to pay attention to this detail, right? It's very easy to look over this news, right? Hut 8 borrows $12 million from DCG's Foundry to order new Bitcoin miners. I want you to focus on this part. Borrows $12 million. Mining is a very volatile industry. That's a huge risk. So the fact that DCG Foundry had the confidence to lend another person money to buy miners, even though the supply of miners right now are pretty sold out, that is absolutely bullish. That means that these people think that the price of Bitcoin is going to keep heading in the direction that it's going. And then the last piece of news, Phil, and then I want to get your thoughts. This was a big deal. The biggest contributor and maintainer of the Bitcoin Core software, right, on GitHub, Wladimir J. van der Leen announced that he wants to take a step back. He gave his reasonings in this GitHub post, which I will put down in the link description. And man, he's basically explaining that he's taking a step back, Phil, because of the recent attack by CSW and putting pressure on core developers. And he just doesn't want to be involved in that. But there's a bright side. His argument is this is a weakness in Bitcoin, and there needs to be more decentralization in the maintenance of the GitHub, so that this doesn't happen in the future where there's a single point of failure. Of course, Bitcoin does not force any software updates. So even if all the developers disappeared off the face of the planet, it doesn't matter. Everyone would still be running Bitcoin. And you have to update your Bitcoin software by choice, right? So it's not being forced upon anybody. And of course, someone else would pick up where they left off because Bitcoin is open source. So like I've been saying, you cut off one head of the Hydra, another pops off. It just happens that the easiest way to develop right now is focusing on Bitcoin Core. That's where everyone's putting their attention. But like I said, if all these developers got pressure from CSW, what would happen is just another GitHub would sprout out. They would take the work of Bitcoin Core and they would just maintain it, and it would start again, right? And there's many eyes on the development of that. So again, I think it's a good move by Wladimir, but it is pretty important because that is the biggest contributor to Bitcoin Core since 2011. Phil, what are your thoughts on on Klaus, Bitcoin Core, and of course Hut 8 loan from DCG?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Klaus, you know, you heard my piece on that. I don't really know what else to say. These people are completely insane, and they will only prove their insanity to be true as time goes on. And you know, they continue to come up with these stupid ideas that everybody wants to be a slave except for them. In terms of Hut 8, I think that's ultra bullish, right? You know, these guys are willing to take on this risk. They seem like a pretty small outfit, obviously. So, you know, I'm assuming that they did their homework and it's a calculated risk. So I'd say it's bullish. But on the last piece, I'm sorry. I totally blanked out. What was the last piece that you that we just...
Wladimir?
Oh, that's right, for the Bitcoin Core developer leaving. Okay, so look, I think it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, it's gonna hurt because he is the biggest core contributor. But maybe at the same time that allows maybe a couple of other people to come forward and help spread the load, right? So that he is not a bottleneck. The fact that he mentioned that, you can see that he's looking at himself in relation to the project objectively. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like that's a really good thing, and it kind of tells you the kind of the quality of the types of people that are working on this, and you know, their integrity, and that they're looking at the bigger picture. And you know what, I don't really consider it like look, you know, somebody might say that, you know, it's weak or whatever like that he's stepping back. I don't personally think that. I didn't see anybody comment that. I'm just saying somebody could think that. But the reality is that at the end of the day, I think the Bitcoin community, if CSW really tries to take this to the extreme, there's a lot of wealthy Bitcoiners out there, okay? Silent, wealthy Bitcoiners that are paying attention. And I do not believe that they're for a second going to let this complete scam artist, okay, destroy what is the real Bitcoin with his ridiculousness. So I think that people, you know, are going to come forward and are going to support our devs if it's required in a legal battle.
Absolutely.
And Rockstar Dev even made a tweet about that he, you know, even he would obviously be willing to support our devs. And he's, again, another humble, and I consider, you know, very positive figure in the Bitcoin space, you know, works for BTC, pay server codes for them. And I think, to me, like, those guys are just like core contributors, right? BTC pay server is a huge thing. And hey, you know, like, these guys, they're willing to, you know, that was like the first thing he said was, hey, I've got your back.
Absolutely. And I think Wladimir was very wise, and I think in the article, no, not I think, I know in the article he mentioned many times that he was worried about, you know, he saw himself as kind of a liability because it was like a single point of attack. Mm-hmm. So that was one of his reasonings. And yeah, man, I agree. I think this is going to further strengthen the honey badgers. So that's the bright side. Anyways, Phil, there was a website. It wasn't by a plebe, but it was a really cool website. Why don't you show everybody?
Websites by plebes. All right, guys, this is a really cool site that I like to go to, that I often use against the shitcoiners. And this is just, it's bitinfocharts.com, and it's really cool. You can check out all these different metrics, okay? And you can put them up, you can compare them against some other coins. So what I do is I always compare, you know, when you compare BTC to BSV, because, you know, they always come up with this garbage that's, you know, the real Bitcoin and everything. So this is a fantastic, you could look at the average hash rate per day and take a look. This is Bitcoins. This is on the 3-year chart. You could see a nice, steady, wonderful incline. And look at BSV. This red line that's limping along the floor.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
it's like a dead coin. Thanks, Phil. It's like a dead coin. It's literally, it's like a dead coin. You know, the hash rate stays the same, and that's the value. That's the value proposition. You know, and
zombie.
Exactly. It's a zombie coin. Thanks for that, Phil. Guys, that was our show. I hope you enjoyed a weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin. Have an amazing day, and we will see you on Tuesday for another episode.